Hey homegirls, welcome to my channel.
Our very first project is going to include these hearts, this free printable that I have here for you, it'll be linked down below, and a wreath that you probably already have on hand. You're going to take that free printable, print it out, glue it to a piece of foam core, and then cut it out with an X-Acto knife. I skipped over showing that step just because I figured most of you will be able to know how to do that really quickly. And then I took some twine and glued that to the back of the little printable of this cute vintage Cupid. Once the hot glue and twine was all glued in place, you're just going to put that over to the side and pull out the hearts next. These hearts are from the Dollar Tree, and I love that they had red and pink ones right now. And then you're going to just figure out the length that you need the stick. Cut them down to size so that way you can tuck them down into the wreath form so that it holds them all into place. When the hot glue is dry on the Cupid, you're going to take that little guy and you're going to take the twine and use it to tie around the wreath. Because this is a wreath I'm sure you use all year long just like I do, but you want to spruce it up for Valentine's Day. Go ahead and take the twine, wrap it around the back side of the wreath, and then just simply tie it in place so that way you can take it off when you're done with the season and the holiday. I love this idea just because if you're not super big into decorating for holidays, you don't really have to go out and buy a whole bunch of stuff. You just take a little picture of something that is for the holiday and a really small little hearts just like this, and when you're done you can take it all out. Once your little Cupid's tied in place, take your hearts and just push them down into your wreath. When it comes to putting in the hearts, I like to mix up the pattern. I do a red, then a pink, then a red, then a pink. That way so I don't accidentally put all the reds on one side and all the pink on one side and I run out of the color, and then it's more evenly dispersed. I just think the impact of these little hearts are so cute, and it seriously took me all of about 5-10 minutes to do this project. I think the most time was just gluing down the cute little Cupid and cutting it out of the foam core. Once you have your hearts all in place, you're then going to take some ribbon to your liking. All of these ribbons came from the Dollar Tree. Put some twine on the back of it so that you can bring that up underneath the Cupid and then be able to also tie that to the wreath. Now, you don't have to add this ribbon if this is still too much for you and you like it to be really simple with the Cupid and the hearts, or if you like just having the hearts, that's totally fine too. That's the cool thing about decorating for holidays. You get to do it to your liking and you can add as much or as little as you'd like. Today I'm partnering up with Julie from Julie's Wreath Boutique. Now, if you're not sure of who Julie is and you haven't heard of her yet, I would love to recommend you go over and check her out and click that subscribe button, because Julie makes some of the most beautiful wreaths. I am always so impressed by how colorful and bright her wreaths look, and the best part is that she makes them look so easy when she does them. Plus, I think her personality is so fun and she's so welcoming. So go head over and check out her channel. If you are new to my channel and you're coming over from Julie, welcome. My name is Heidi with Happily Thriving Heidi. I post every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, and right now for the month of January, I am focusing on Valentine's Day. Now on Fridays, I do this thing called Friend Friday, and I'm doubling up my projects with other friends to bring you even more DIYs. The next project I'm going to be working on are with some ribbon and flowers I found after Christmas season. Now, they do sell pink throughout the Christmas season, and usually it's a frosty pink, snow-covered type flower, which is what this is. These things were $19.99, and I picked them up for $2.88 for each bundle, which was just crazy. So I ended up saving so much money. To create a form to stay on budget, I like to take some foam core. I will use a pizza pan of some sort, and you can pick those up at the Dollar Tree, and then trace a big circle, and the circle does not have to be perfect. You can see that I'm cutting it wonky here. I'm just showing you that a fast circle is all you really need. and then you're going to cut away from that line and then on the inside of that line to make sure you have a nice thick frame. I cut off all of the flower heads, and then I also took off all of the leaves because I wanted to use those as well. Start by taking your hot glue and gluing down the leaves onto that circle that we cut out earlier. And then I'm just kind of switching up the direction of the leaves so it looks fuller. Be careful not to burn your fingers on this one because I did several times. And then you're just going to glue your leaves down, going around in a circle, making sure that everything is nice and in place. And the reason why you're doing this first versus gluing on the flowers is because it's making sure you're not going to miss any spots that you're trying to hide from that white underneath all the flowers. Once you've gone all the way around, take any extra leaves that you see big white spots on, and you're just going to cut them and put them also into place. So at this point we've covered around the circle pretty well, and the flowers should cover up the rest of the white. Now I've decided to go back and forth with a white pink white pattern. I just thought it was so pretty doing it this way. So I'm putting a little bit of glue on the green plastic part of the flower and as well as some of the leaves to make sure that it's really stuck on there well. And I think what makes it look pretty is the closer these flowers are together, the better it'll look. If you put them too far apart, it's going to look a little too spaced out. So snugging your flowers into each other really closely, making sure that it looks nice and full and pretty. Another tip is when you're putting in your flowers, probably space them out as well, because towards the end you can see here that I was like, ooh, they're all a little bit too close, and so I'm having to really snug things in a little bit closer. I didn't think to space them all out first, which I should have, but it's okay because again, you want them to look snug and close. So I'm just kind of squishing them in here towards the end, but they still look really great and you can't even tell that that was an issue. Then you're going to take some ribbon on the back side. I used about a 7 to 8 inch strip of ribbon first, and I laid that down, and then I hot glued that to a bow with a twine loop smushed between it. This is going to allow you to be able to hang it up, and it's going to look just so pretty on your front door.
If you haven't already, please give this video a thumbs up. It means so much to me, and it really helps out my channel every single time someone clicks that button.
And if you have an Instagram account like me, swing on by and say hello. I love to connect with my viewers over there. Pin projects so that I can see how you're doing if you decide to try them. I post about weight loss, family life, and I give a lot of sneak peeks on home decor projects I'm working on. For the next project, this is probably my favorite. You're going to take 4 different color fabrics. I had 1 solid and 3 patterns, some ribbon of your liking. These all came from the Dollar Tree, which I'm always so impressed with. I did decide at the very end to switch to a more neutral type ribbon, but if you are looking for ribbon at the Dollar Tree, they have some really cute stuff, and I picked these up from different sections, some from the floral section, some from the holiday sections, but they've got a lot of ribbon there that you can pick up for just $1. And then I also used this fern, and you girls have heard me talk about these ferns before. I love them. I am so happy they bring them out in the springtime, and I always snatch them all up. So we're going to do my trick again where I take the wrapping paper, flip it over, and create a pattern for a shape. This is the best way to do it because it's got those grid lines on it like I've talked about in other previous videos when I'm doing crafts. So we're going to make 3 different size hearts, a really large one, a medium one, and a small one. And the reason why we're going to be doing this is because we are going to be cutting out hearts with our fabric to create a really pretty and romantic looking wreath for your front door. Now the reason why I love this one the most is just because I think anytime it's something that is not the typical norm that you'll see for home decor, especially like a wreath that's usually round, I just love sometimes when you have a surprise look to your front door and people will walk up and see it and think it's so pretty. So once you've got your 3 different shaped hearts cut out, go ahead and lay them all out so that you can see that they're the different sizes. Make sure you check them. You do want to make sure that they're really different in size, and then you're just going to pin them all down to your fabric and start cutting them out. I picked up these fabrics from Joann's. I loved this buffalo check plaid one that I picked up, the little mini hearts, and then as well as the gray and white one. And then to have a solid pink is really important because you want to be able to give the eye a break from all the pattern. You could use red if you want to use red as well. Take a long string of twine and go ahead and lay that down, and then you're going to take your hot glue and go around the shape of the heart except for the very bottom tail of the heart. You don't want to put glue there because when you're all done doing that, we're going to stuff these hearts so they're nice and squishy and just so cute. Make sure your hot glue is really dry before you start stuffing it because glue can pull apart on fabric if it's not completely dry. So go ahead and just take a small amount. You don't want it to be too thick because then the sides of the heart start to buckle and you can tell when it's just too stuffed. You're going to go ahead and put some inside of your heart, push it up in there, and once you've got everything in place and you feel like it's nice and poofy like you want, you're then going to take the tail of the heart and hot glue the rest of that. Then push the batting in and out of the way, and using your hot glue, you're just going to bring it together. Continue to hot glue until everything is nice and dry and really pretty. So here's how each heart should be looking when you're all done stuffing them. And when you do the whole bunch of them, it just looks so cute at this point. Again, super whimsical and romantic. Now you're going to take a piece of foam core. I did a rectangle shape. Then what I like to do is cut off the sides to make sure that it's not visible at the end. And now I'm going to take those pieces of twine. Can you see how long these strings need to be when you're first cutting them? You need to make sure they're long enough so they can dangle down really pretty. You're then going to glue in your hearts one at a time. And you're doing it this way because you want to measure the length to make sure that they're all being seen and that they're able to be not on top of each other, just clumped into one big mess. And I use the rectangle shape, as you can see here up at the top with the foam cord piece, because I wanted to be able to make sure that I had the right space to be able to put down these hearts. And then as you're going, make sure you pick it up from time to time so that you can see where it's getting too clustered and to see where it looks great and you need another heart if you have an empty space. And then just keep adding them in. Now another tip is these light pinks, it's gonna, like I said earlier, help you break up that pattern. When you're putting down your hearts, you want to make sure that they're kind of crisscross to each other. So you see the little red mini heart fabric. I put that over across from each other, and then as well as that gray and white buffalo check, I put those across from each other versus on top of each other. It just makes it more interesting. When you're all done, snip off all of your twine pieces at the top, and then I'm going to take those ferns and just glue them down to help camouflage that stuff earlier that we were gluing on to the foam cord. We want to make sure we keep this nice and clean looking because it just makes it look more professional. So just trim away any extra that you don't need. And then this is going to look so cute because it's got a little, you know, floral greenery up at the top. Glue those all down and in place. And once you've got your ferns, you then can move on to little dainty flowers. These flowers all came from the Dollar Tree. I love that they have little small dainty flowers like this just because they're great fillers, or when you don't want something to be so in your face with a lot of big flowers. I just think it looks so pretty to layer these all together, especially with these ferns. These boxwood leaves came from a long vine that I picked up at Hobby Lobby. I used a 40% off coupon, and I just cut it up all the time whenever I'm working on projects. I love to add in little tiny stems of that boxwood because it's so pretty. Then you're going to take one more rectangle shape of that foam core. You're going to cut the top again, round the sides, just like this, and glue it down. This is going to allow you to be able to attach a bow and to hang it up on your front door. You're also going to notice here that I glued on the tails of my bow onto that first rectangle shape, so that way it's not competing with all the florals, and the bow can sit on the front and the tails are coming down the back. Once you've got the ribbon and this extra piece of foam core on, you're then going to take a piece of twine loop and glue that into place so that you can hang it up, and then flip it back over so you can add your bow. add a really loopy pretty bow onto the front of that foam core piece that we just added. And then you're going to take one flower, and I went with a neutral looking color just because I already feel there's so much color going on. You're going to glue down a leaf from that flower first onto the foam core to hide the white, and then add the flower. And that completes the look for this one.
Leave a comment down below to let me know which one was your favorite DIY that I did in this video. Thanks so much for stopping by today and being my friend. Until the next episode, bye homegirls!